Hi Founder fans, Jason here. Welcome to Friday Night American Revolution Trivia. Thank you all for showing up. As people are rolling in, I will greet you by saying hello and welcome to Trivia. Braden, I see your iPad is at 10%. Well, we're going about an hour. We usually go about an hour. Don't know if 10% is going to work, but I'll tell you what, you get in as many questions as you can. Hopefully you win anyway. We will see. We are going to spice it up a little bit. We're going to put together, and I agree, Misfit, we do have a nice turnout this week. We're going to combine the two ways we've done things in the past, because when we first started out, well, I was doing trivia cards so I can answer along with you. And the last few weeks, I made up questions on my own. This week, I'm going to do a little bit of both. I have a deck of cards that I'm going to do 6 questions from, sprinkled in 6 questions that I made up based on articles I've written this week. So that way there are some questions I have nothing to do with that anyone can answer, and it's more fair to people who maybe did not see the live video this week or didn't read all my articles. So we're finding somewhere in the middle. Hi guys, Braden, Misfit, Historical, Lisa, thank you so much all for coming. Historical USA, Lisa is our winner from last week, so she will not be winning this week. She must take a week off, but as returning champion, she's playing for pride. And I will say, she did tie with Matthew last week, technically with 6 points each. Matthew, who could not win because he won the prior week, but Matthew is back in, technically going for 3 weeks. Don't know if you're here yet, Matthew, but if you show up, I wouldn't be surprised if you came from behind. So we have a total of 12 questions this week. We are going to continue playing the way we've been doing, first come, first serve. So the first person to answer a question correctly is the winner. So, the trivia cards we're going to use this week are from the U.S. Constitution quiz deck, which is not the easiest to see. And Matt's here. Here we go. Let's see. So, these are U.S. Constitution questions. So, 6 of the questions will be focused on the Constitution, and 6 will be based pretty much around the articles I wrote in the past week and some of the videos I've shot in the last week. To be fair, it's not only the articles, it's some of the videos. So, let's get to it. First things first, we're going to start with Republicus. Last Friday, I published an article written by someone called Republicus. Now, the question is, Republicus was the only anti-federalist to be published in a territory of the United States. Not a state, a territory. What territory was it published in? Again, the anti-federalist paper, Republicus, was published... I almost gave it away. The anti-federalist paper written by Republicus was published in a territory and not a state. What territory was it published in? And I will note, it is a future state. And we're seeing answers coming in. And Matthew off to a quick start with Kentucky. Yes, it was published in the Lexington Gazette in Kentucky. So we're going to pop over here. We're going to give Matthew his big point. Oh, don't get mad. We got plenty of time, Historical. We have 2 more questions this week than we had last week. So we should be able to cover everyone's... everyone has a chance. But we're getting Matt up on the big board first. He really wants to win again with 1 point. And we'll come back to me. And you know what? I almost forgot to say what we're playing for this week. It's going to be difficult to read. Again, it's a signature autograph like last week. This week is Big George Washington. It's in white, so it's very hard to see. I don't even know if I can get close enough to the camera for it to focus a little bit. I will stop distracting you. It's a very nice sticker from our sponsors at Liberty & Co. And I do want to mention them. I will mention them frequently throughout. I love Liberty & Co. I have for several years been wearing their shirts under my collars almost every time I've made a video. There are sporadic Liberty & Co. things around my office here. So let's continue with another question. And now we're going to go over to the cards. And now I do not know the answers to these cards. So part of the fun for me with the cards, the questions, you know, they're a little tough for me to come up with. But the cards I don't know the answers to. So it's more fun for me to play along with you at home. The first question is, how many senators run in each congressional election? How many senators run in each congressional election? I will note that these are modern cards, fairly modern. I don't know the actual date of publication, but not old enough. You know, the cards are still shiny and new. So it's not like we're talking about 1726. This is more current affairs. I didn't consider that when when I picked up the Constitution deck, it has We the People on it in old-timey pictures. Matthew saying 1. Historical USA saying 25. I'm going to recommend more guesses. I don't know. I will start answering. So we do have 50 senators that sit for 6 years each. So they would run every third year, every other year, 1/3 runs. I don't know what 1/3 of 50 is. I would think it's 20. No. 15 times 3 would be 45. So it's like 17 times 3 would be closer. So 16 or 17? I'm saying it. Someone better type that in while I go. Senators serve 6-year terms. That's tough to say. Senators serve 6-year terms, and 1/3 of the senators run for election every 2 years. Senators are divided into 3 classes, with elections held on staggered basis. With 100 senators, the classes are divided into 33, 33, and 34 years when a state enters the Union. Oh yeah, I assumed there were 50 senators. Obviously, I overlooked that there are 2 senators in every state. Boy, is my face probably turning red right now. Speaking of which, I apologize for the poor image quality on Wednesday. We had some technical difficulties, and I am dodging the fact that I forgot there's 2 senators in every state, and there are 100 senators, so it wouldn't be 17. It would be 33 or 34. So I am going to give that to Adam Lewis, who is now putting it down at the bottom. He got 34, which is right 1/3 of the time, but close enough because it's 33.33333. And although you would round that down, if I think if the mathematicians in the audience want to chime in, I think that gets rounded down. Obviously, Adam gets a point for that. So we're going to pop back up here. Again, that's why I wanted to play with the trivia cards, is because I don't know, and I want to play along and have fun, and I will make terrible, embarrassing mistakes, and people will unsubscribe, because how can this guy not know how many senators are in the United States Senate? I am very embarrassed by that. Although, I'm impressed with my own mathematics. And Adam, you are up on the board with 1 point, tied with Matt, and we're going to pop right back over here. Excuse me, and we are going to get on with question number 3. Again, going back to one of the articles I published this week over the weekend, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, and I discussed it in the live video on Wednesdays. If you guys aren't coming to the live videos on Wednesdays, you should please definitely consider coming to the live videos on Wednesday, where I discuss the, last 7 founders of the day. I had some coffee late at night again, and it was getting to me. The last 7 founders that I published on my website, founderoftheday.com. It's a lot of fun. Not as much conversation or interaction, but I like to think it's informative, and people seem to enjoy it. Anyway, next question. What fruit did Loamy Baldwin popularize a strain of in the United States? Loamy Baldwin, who served in the American Revolutionary War and is better known for canal building the Middlesex Canal in Massachusetts, and siring 5 sons who all went on to be important engineers. He's often called the father of civil engineering. Also, discovered a strain of fruit that he popularized. And what apple is it? Oh, and everyone's coming in with it. The apple, the apple, the apple. And yes, unfortunately, Matt got there first. So everyone who's coming in with the right answers, I really appreciate it. But it is a first come, first served this time. Ashley with the woodpecker apple. Technically, yes, it was the woodpecker apple, but they changed the name to Baldwin. I really like your attention to detail. In fact, I'm going to do something that's probably going to make everyone mad at me. I am going to give Matthew his point for coming through first with the apple, if I press the right buttons, maybe. So Matthew gets another point, but you know what? Ashley, obviously you were paying attention, so you are also going to get a point. Because, you know what? It's my show, and I know it's going to make everyone mad, because everyone got it right. Oh, I don't mean unfortunately, Matthew. I'm so sorry. I don't mean unfortunately. I meant unfortunately for everyone else who's getting the answer correct. You came through unfortunately for them. Come on, man. I'm proud of you for getting it right. We are shaking things up. Good. We're having fun here. And that's the point. Now, I hit the wrong button. Let's pull it back up. What did I do to myself here? Where are my questions? Okay. Well, my questions are on the card because we're going back to the card. And this is a very challenging Constitution question. Can the city of Chicago devise bankruptcy laws that apply only to its residents? Can the city of Chicago devise bankruptcy clause that only apply to its residents? It seems to be a yes or no question, so whoever says yes or no first. But you only get one. Whatever you say first, you're sticking with. Can the city of Chicago devise bankruptcy laws that apply only to its residents? Again, I thought this was going to be about the Constitution itself and not be really deep psychological, constitutional questions. I would, assume that a state and a city could devise its own bankruptcy law. Sure. No, I was wrong. No. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution authorizes Congress to create, quote, uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcy throughout the United States. Such laws must be uniform and cannot be modified by states or municipalities. Very interesting. Very interesting. I guess technically that's directly related to the Constitution. So that's a founder's question. And I got wrong. Matt got it right, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Matt. Now we're going to have to... That's going to be the running joke. I can't help it. Very specifically... okay, a few things coming in. First, we're going to go over here. We are going to pop up Matt's points, or else I'm going to screw it up, unfortunately. And we're going to come back here, and I am going to respond to these real quick. Historical, Constitutional Convention Trivia Night, that I can do, but part of the reason I wanted to bring these more difficult than I expected cards in is because I was afraid that some of the questions I was asking were too specific to like me and what I would want to be asked, and I thought they might be too challenging. I can do a Constitutional Convention Trivia Night. That would be fun. It would be fairly difficult for me to do it. No, that's all right, Brain. Hey, we're here to learn, and it's fun, and we're having fun. And the more the merrier. Actually, what we could do with the Constitutional Convention thing is I could send out like a list of the names of delegates to the Constitutional Convention and have those names be the answers to whatever question. Maybe we'll do that. I'll think about it. Thank you for the suggestion. That's a great suggestion. Another great suggestion would be to continue with the game. So, I don't want to hold you guys up, but it's Friday night. We're having fun here. All right. This week, I wrote an article about a gentleman named Donald Robertson. Donald Robertson was a teacher. Name one of his students. He had several famous students. Now, you only get credit for one. There's one very famous one. Name that student. There are some less famous ones. If you can name a less famous one, you'll also get a point. You get a point for one. But everyone only gets 1 point each. Coming in. Okay, Matt, getting James Madison. Matt is on the ball today. Matt's internet must be super fast, or he's like in my room somewhere, because he is on top of it tonight. But Ashley and everyone else, if you can name another founder who served under him, I'm going to leave that open for now. I don't know of a Pendleton good answer. Matt, I said you only get one. He's giving away answers to other people. But we are going to pop over. We are going to give Matt his points here. Seems to be storming away with it. No historical, not Jefferson. Everyone else is fairly lesser known, although I did talk about one just recently. One is also, and Matt's getting his 4th point here, the father of the Northwest Territory. Also, I know I have a low budget version of how we do this here. But I have been looking into more, legitimate way. Unfortunately, Matt is very good at trivia. And he's rattling them off. I'm only going to give Matt points for one. Yes, Misfit. Yes, Misfit has picked up on the idea that she should be copying off what Matt says. We're going to move past this question now, but James Inns, John Tyler, Robert Brooke. Misfit has clearly gone to the to my website and started looking it up. Also, a good way to go about it. But George Rogers Clark is the most famous after Madison, who's the father of the Northwest. We're going to move on from this question. Obviously, mayhem has broken out. There is mistrust everywhere within the ranks. Remind you the difference. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. The difference between Madison and John Adams. John Adams was a little bit older, Braden. He was there a lot earlier. He was in... Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I did not want to offend people with this. Clearly, that's why I don't want to write the questions anymore. So I'm causing trouble. Braden, John Adams, he got on the scene a lot earlier. He helped create the Continental Congress, essentially, and signed the Declaration of Independence, and then went to France for a long time. And when he was in France and Jefferson was in France, that's when James Madison kind of came up as a younger guy, ended up writing the Constitution, and then John Adams comes home, sees the Constitution James Madison wrote, and becomes vice president right away, and then becomes president. And then 8 years later, James Madison also becomes president. What do you think, guys? How did I sum up that comparison? That was a pretty super brief comparison. Okay, we're moving on here. Back to these very difficult cards. We'll see how this goes. Can the federal government regulate the business of a manufacturer that produces musical instruments only in California? Can the federal government regulate the business of a manufacturer that produces musical instruments only in California? And yes, Braden, Madison was friends with Jefferson. He was almost like a protege. He was, I don't know, about 10 years younger. Kind of came up under him. And then kind of becomes his number two until Jefferson retires and Madison takes his place as number one. Big president. Okay, we got answers coming in. And Matt's saying no. And before I even look, I think the answer is no. This is the Commerce Clause that we were referencing before. No, if they're not selling across state borders, then the federal government has nothing to do with it. Probably since the materials used to produce the instruments and the finished products most likely cross state lines. Oh, this is a trick question. Can the produces instruments? Okay, so the instruments are only produced in California, but they can be sold elsewhere. So if they're sold out of state, then the Commerce Clause gives Congress the right to regulate it. I don't like this answer. This is the same problem we ran into. The problem with me not making up the questions and using these cards is I don't always like the answers. I am going to stick with no. I think Matthew's right because the indication from the question is that they were making and selling them in California, right? Because, like, that's the thing about, like, marijuana. Technically, marijuana is legal in certain states, but you can't sell it in another state, or else then the federal government would regulate it since it's illegal in the United States. I don't like this question, although part of it's because I got it wrong. You know what? I'm sorry, Matthew. The thing is, the answer is probably. It doesn't say yes or no. It says probably. Like, come on, man. What kind of trivia is this? I don't know who to award points. I'm at a loss. I'm giving you dead air. I'm embarrassed because I'm at a loss. You know what? I'm going to take back what I said. I'm sorry, Matthew. I am going to give the points to Adam because Adam said yes and the card said yes. And I'm not just going to say the card is wrong because I disagree with it. I'm going to go with what the card says. So let's pop it up. We're going to pop back here. Adam, still in it with 2 points. We are far from over. I got to get a better system. I really do. I've been looking it up this week. Yeah, I'm not happy, but I'm doing it. Again, not my favorite question in the whole world. And where did my questions go? Where did my questions go? Here we go. Okay. I take a sip of my coffee, catch my breath after that question that makes me super angry. A lot coming in. All of us. Okay, Ashley, everyone gets it. Okay, I'm sorry I got fed. I'm sorry I got fed up there. Wickard versus Filburn. Adam is saying gave the feds crazy power in the 30s. Yes, they took a lot of crazy powers in the 30s. No comment. Braden answered first. Did I see that? Did I miss that? Did I give the wrong? I mean, on my screen, Adam's name is first. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Braden. I'm trying to do this right. You know what? I'm going to throw Braden up there a point. If Matt's taking your side as reigning, theoretically 2-time champion, Braden, you're in it. You're not out of it. I like it. I like the teamwork. Even though everyone's competing, I really like the teamwork that we're growing here. This is a fun community we're building. I'm really proud of you guys. So I'm giving Braden a point. Say thank you to Matt. He is he's nailing it. In the YouTube channel, yours is first. Oh, Misfit's saying that too. Oh. Well, let me see something right here. I'm also new to this kind of thing. I'm learning things. Oh, and now it's got to catch up over here. Oh. Tarot 1 to each. Okay. I'm just really... Yeah, no, it pops up over here too. Well, very interesting. Anyhoozle. If you guys know a better way to play trivia on YouTube, please feel free to let me know. I've been looking it up. There's a few programs that I'm considering getting into. They cost a little bit, and I'm trying to make sure I find the right one. And I'm trying to find a better way to interact live. Like, I'm also a little ahead of you, a little bit ahead of you, and for whatever reason, the order comes up differently on all of my applications here. So I apologize for that confusion. Let's keep playing. We're having a fun time. So before, we talked about Donald Robertson, who I just all week long wanted to call Robert Donaldson. Donald Robertson is the person who taught James Madison at grade school that we discussed before. Now, I also wrote an article about his son. His son's name was Isaac Robertson. How did Isaac Robertson die? Bum, bum, bum. They came in at the same time. Okay, interesting. That's very weird, Misfit. Use guys. Is that a Jane Silent Bob reference? Use guys. Matt coming with the right answer. Oh, he was stabbed. Okay, here's another question. Because Matt is right, but I want to add a bonus point on here. What did they call the knife? And another bonus question. What was the name of the person who stabbed him? So, I'm throwing in 2 bonus questions. No, not forked. What did they call the weapon? I don't even know if I wrote it in the article. I think I said out loud. Matt, getting it. Matt, you're on fire right now, dude. Okay. Sorry, Ashley. You're right there. You're right there. Yes. Matt knows the question. Matt must know the questions before I'm asking him. He's just on fire today. I did say there was a bonus point. And let's see. Dear boy, you know what? Matt, I'm giving you 2. You had 4. I just erased it. You had 4, and now I'm giving you 2 for 6. I am going to give Ashley Samuel Dearborn because you can't have all the bonus questions, Matt. You get 1 bonus question. You got 1 bonus question. I'm sorry. I'm making up some of the rules as I go along. I don't know what you want from me. This is a fun time. We're having fun here. Okay. And again, so that's the problem with my questions that I make up is I just add answers as we go along. Next question. Let's see here. I surrender at Yorktown. Oh, Misfit, you've won in the past. Have you won in the past? I'm pretty sure. I thought you have. Maybe not. I sure hope so, because you're doing a great job. You're always doing... Tonight might not be your night. But Matt is killing it. Okay. Okay, everyone's waving the white flag. Hey, well, it's all right. Next week, Matt can't win. So no matter what happens. And you know what? I'm going to pull this back up here. We have... well, I got to pull it up on my screen, too. So Matt's only up by 3 points or 4 points or 5 points on you guys. It is far from over. Because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions left. It's anyone's game. As we've seen before, people can come from behind very quickly. Okay. Braden with the Lafayette reference. Well played. I almost said the wrong guy. I'm sorry. And next Constitution question is, does the Bill of Rights apply to the states as well as the federal government? The Bill of Rights, does it apply to the states as well as the federal government? I slept at a Holiday Inn. You still didn't answer me if the used guys is a Jay and Silent Bob reference. I have not seen the new one, but I used to like that when I was a younger. Used to be a big fan of Jay and Silent Bob. No, it's not, Matthew. Well, okay, fair enough. Not usually something we talk about on the American Revolution podcast. Not a lot of Jay and Silent Bob references. Okay, we got answers coming in. Now it does. Does the Bill of Rights apply to the state? Originally it did not. Now it does. Interesting. People being very specific. So right now, before I answer, we've got Ashley with yes, Matt with no, and historical with now it does. Beat Tarot. So I am going to say that's a tricky question. No, it did not at first. I know that for a fact. You're throwing me off now. I'm going to say no. These cards, man. In part, but not as a whole. Over time, the Supreme Court has interpreted the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause as incorporating many of the Bill of Rights guarantees to the states as well as to the federal government. The concept of incorporation has dealt with such fundamental rights as freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition. But the court has not held the states subject to some other rights, such as right to bear arms or the right to a trial by jury in a civil case. Well, la-di-da. Well, what do you know? I'm going to... Ooh, sorry. Bang my table. Probably hurt my mic. I'm going to give that to Lisa. Historical. Your name's Lisa, right? I keep getting names confused. Misfits Amber. Historical's Lisa. Got it. Well, we're going to call you by your interweb name. Historical. I'm giving you this one. Whammy. So. Alright, Lauren, thanks for coming. Feel better. Feel better. We'll see you next time. Thank you for hitting like. Everyone else, if you want to take Lauren's example and hit like, that's much appreciated. Even fighting through ill health, he still gives me the thumbs up, which helps the channel and helps people discover us. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you discover the channel because other of you hit like. Okay, I'm going to go with this. As far as this card goes, so at first it didn't because, like, for example, freedom of religion in the First Amendment, Connecticut had a state religion. The exact religion escapes me. I don't think it was Episcopalian. It was a denomination of Christianity, and Connecticut had it, and you had to pay tithes to your state. And there was even a party started by a gentleman, Pierpont Edwards, called the Toleration Party. And I've talked about this before. The Toleration Party was a Connecticut political party that their goal was to get rid of the state religion, or at least stop people from other denominations of Christianity having to pay a tithe through the government to the state religion. And this was during the James Madison administration. So we're 30 plus years in. It may have been congregational. I'm not sure. But yes. Either way, yes. There used to be state religions, which was against the Bill of Rights. Wow, losing it. Against the Bill of Rights. But as it says in the card, it has changed because of amendments to the Constitution and ways we've come up with it. Puritans, no, I don't think they were Puritans, Braden. Like, so Puritanism was still kind of throughout New England, and it seeped into, and this is kind of a broad generalization, which I don't like to do, especially with religion, but Puritan values had seeped into most of New England's denominations of Christianity. They may not have practiced exactly the same thing, and they certainly weren't the Puritans of the Mayflower anymore, but Puritanism, like the same ideals were there. A lot of it was broken, though, through the American Revolution and interactions with Catholics, actually, from Maryland, who were signed, the Declaration of Independence, signed the U.S. Constitution, and one of the original things that many New Englanders didn't like was that the Catholics in New France, when it was taken by Britain, the king said you could still be Catholic, and they were like, why? So Congregationalist sounds right. I believe Anglican was in New York. I have not put a lot of time into the religions. Religion's always such a touchy subject that I try not to dive too much into it. And what I have researched personally has been very much on the peripheral. So I do apologize. I hope I not offend anyone. I don't talk about it because I don't want to offend anyone. And not talking about it is also very offensive. So, we already gave out our points for it. That's right. Yeah. Oh, man. Braden, I'm sorry. Oh, you really, really want that point. Oh, man. I will give, you know what, Braden, I will give you an extra point for hitting the like button. Want to know why no one liked going to Thomas Jefferson's house? I have not heard that. I understand Thomas Jefferson was a very good time. He was not a great guy. Actually, I believe what Thomas Jefferson brought to the United States from France was ice cream. Oyster ice cream, if I'm not mistaken. And I understand it was quite good. So, chew on that for a minute. Anywho, so we just did a very tricky one of those questions. Let's move on to the very next question. One of mine. Okay, an article I wrote just a few days ago and just talked about in the live video. So this is kind of a first come, first serve question. What was Simeon Martin famous for? But no, that's not a joke. It's a question. Okay, let's see. Braden, my mom told me a long time ago, you gotta try everything once before you decide you don't like it. I took up some bad habits for a while, which I don't, I used to give my mom trouble saying I would take up bad habits because she told me to try everything once. It's a joke. That's better, I guess, if, when you're trying to keep a family friendly, that joke doesn't fly as well as it used to. Let's see, coming in, Ashley, beating Matt to the punch. He is known for having the longest epitaph, apparently in the United States still, and maybe even in the whole wide world, at 407 words, which is longer than the amount of words I actually wrote in the article I wrote about his life. I think that's hilarious. Please join me in my laughter. So here we are. It was Ashley, right? Yes, Ashley. Okay, not out of it yet. Ashley's going hard today. Okay, well, okay. Yeah, I got to figure out a better system. I will. I'm sorry, guys. I do this in my spare time, so I just don't have the most time to, I got to fix this. This should look nicer. Shout out to Liberty & Co. If you haven't gone yet, definitely check out their amazing products. I'm not just a fan. I mean, I'm not just, I reached out to them to say, hey, you want to be a sponsor? And Tyson was like, here's a bunch of stuff to give away, including this week's giveaway, George Washington's signature. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you, Liberty & Co. Excuse me. Okay, next question. Let's see. 7 years as lieutenant governor. Okay, so Matt's just you're just begging for the bonus points now? Is that what we're doing? You're just let's see here. Braden, I will give you a point. Actually, I do believe Braden popped in first like 15 minutes early and gave me a like. So, you know what? I am going to pop him up here with the second like. You deserve it, Braden. Thank you for your support. You're the best. Matt, pandering will win you everything. I got a lot of small kids here. I have to do the bribing around the house. So, for someone to pander to me, it makes me feel very nice. We are going to go back to these extremely difficult Constitution questions. So, when a high school, let's say right though. Let's say right. When a high school requires its students to perform mandatory community service, doesn't that violate the 13th Amendment's prohibition against involuntary servitude? When a high school requires its students to perform mandatory community service, doesn't that violate the 13th Amendment's prohibition against involuntary servitude? Woo! There's a lot of weight behind that question. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? All right, I see answers coming in. The thing is, the question itself kind of gives you the answer because it says when a high school does this, meaning high schools are doing it, meaning it's not a problem, right? Like the question is worded poorly. Also, I think it excludes. I think that the 13th Amendment does it specifically exclude. I know it excludes like criminal. I forget the words, but like criminal prosecution. But Braden, yes. Don't want to do that community service, huh? Let's see. So I'm going to say no also. So no. Oh, they give us a red answer. It just answers. I can't imagine. No, the Supreme Court considered this matter in The Supreme Court considered this matter in Steyer v. Bethlehem Area School District 1993 and concluded that a high school community service requirement does not constitute involuntary servitude. A growing number of school districts thereafter added community service to their graduating requirements. Anything you do in high school is, you're forced to do it, right? So no. So, what do you know? Matthew coming through. He really wants the George Washington sticker. I can see it in your eyes. That's great. I'm really. I'll pull it up here. Matthew, question number 7. I'm just glad we have Now, Matthew, I love you. I really appreciate everything. Special shout out to Matthew for being a patron and helping support this channel, offset some of these costs. If you guys want to help me out, check out my Patreon link down below. I put a bunch of extra content over there. Reading a book of the month, Unlikely Allies. Going to put a video about that tomorrow. And specifically, I like that Matthew is turning into the supervillain in this group. And I mean that in the most genuine way, Matt. I'm not trying to be mean at all. But you are now the man to beat. After this we only have a few questions left. This will be what, your technically third straight week? People coming in. Community service. Like the joke, if a teacher keeps you after the bell rings, violates the Geneva Convention. I have not heard that. But yeah, I can understand your grievance. It's a little harsh, but Matthew with his evil. That's my evil laugh. I'm not a scary person. That's why I grew the beard, so at least my kids' friends will be like a little intimidated by me. These 2-year-olds won't trust me. At least I can scare them. Okay, last one of my questions. This is not about an article I wrote. This is about a video I made just yesterday. So, we'll see who's paying attention. Where was Abraham Clark when he suggested calling for a constitutional convention? Abraham Clark. Sounds like... Thanks, Ashley. It's taking me a while to figure it out. I'm still not confident in it, but I'm dealing with it. Oh man, you're playing on your phone. Interesting. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Those phones, like my phone works a lot better for certain things than this does too. So, Abraham Clark was a signer of the Declaration of Independence. He's the one that James Madison credited with calling for the Constitutional Convention. Where was he, or where were they, when they called for it? I'm sorry, the right answer has not come in. Matt, Abraham Clark was from New Jersey, and when he signed the Declaration of Independence, he signed it representing New Jersey. He should have represented New Jersey at the Constitutional Convention he called for, but he got sick. But where was he? And James Madison is the one who says he said it, so they were together, that James Madison and Abraham Clark. No, Matthew, I can understand why you would think he's in New York, because that's where the Continental Congress was meeting. And historical, coming through. Lisa nailing it. They were in Maryland, and not just anywhere in Maryland, in Annapolis. They were at the Annapolis Convention a year before the Constitutional Convention that only a few states showed up to. But New Jersey, of all states, showed up with instructions from their state that were much more liberal than all the other ones and said, you can do whatever you want. And they talked about it, and they were like, hey, maybe we should call a convention to actually change the whole government and not just try and solve problems with the government. So we're gonna pop up the big thing here, and we're gonna give historical whammy. You know, other than Matthew, it's a pretty even race today. And these questions aren't necessarily all easy. Excuse me again. And we are coming up to the last question. So let's see, just to make things interesting. We're going to make this one worth 5 points. So everyone's in it. I'll bring up the scores. I'm sorry to do this, Matthew, but you keep winning, so I got to at least throw everyone else a bone here. Right now, I'm going to make it worth 5 points, which means anyone could tie Matthew. Ashley could take a lead. Matthew could also storm away. But if there is a tie, I do have a tiebreaker, a very challenging tiebreaker that you guys will really enjoy. Here it is, for all the marbles maybe. Is the Fifth Amendment's protection from self-incrimination limited to testimony given in a courtroom? The Fifth Amendment's protection from self-incrimination, is it limited to testimony in a courtroom? When you plead the Fifth, can you plead the Fifth outside the courtroom? It's a yes or no answer, I assume. Matthew saying yes. Ashley saying no. Is it only limited to in a courtroom? So, as we said before, what's interesting about these are they have been changed since the American founding, many of them. Only in a courtroom. It's obviously geared at the courtroom. But yeah, I would think so, because you can incriminate yourself wherever. And then, although that would be hearsay, which also wouldn't count. I am going to say no. No. In Miranda v. Arizona, 1966, the Supreme Court ruled that the safeguard against self-incrimination also implies when police take suspects in for questioning. Before any questioning can begin, police must explain to suspects they have the right to remain silent. Their statements can and will be used against them in the court of law. They have the right to attorney being present during questioning. These are known as the Miranda rights. Okay, so it was determined in the Miranda right. That makes sense. It does make sense. Right. So it's not hearsay. So if you say it to a cop, so if a cop says you have the right to remain silent and you're not silent, well, no, yeah, because you plead the Fifth. It's the Fifth Amendment's protection from self. Oh, that's right. No, you have the protection, and that's why they have to give you the Miranda rights to make sure you know you have the protection and you can plead the Fifth. Interesting. Very interesting. And who got it? Ashley. Ashley coming through. Oh, I'm sorry I made it worth 5 points, Matt. I thought someone else would tie you and we'd go to a runoff, but no. 4 plus 5 is 9. Ashley, reigning champion. Week like 12 or whatever week it is, however long we're doing this. I do now feel a little bit bad, Matthew, that I let her beat you. But you know what? It was a great week. Matthew unthroned after technically 3 consecutive weeks. So, like, I only feel a little bit bad for you. But I should note I was late about it, and I just sent you out in the mail this week your last prize. So, you're still getting a prize next week. Congratulations, Ashley. I do not recall if you've won before. I don't think so. So feel free to contact me in the description below, Ashley. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or my email is down there too. Let me know what your address is. If you're comfortable with that, that's the only way I can send you this sweet sticker with the signature of the late, great General President George Washington. Thank you, guys. This is your first time playing, is it? Oh, interesting. Well, Matthew, I guess now we have a new competitor. I should say historical. Yeah, you were a little off your game this week. You were dominating last week. So that's okay. We all have bad weeks. At certain times I can barely even talk. In fact, if you my audio is super low. Well, thanks for popping in and let me know, Jay Burmis. Thank you for popping in real quick. I have tried to fix the audio before. It looks like it's full now, but we'll have to do what we have to do. Shout out to Jay Burmis, who came in and made fun of me last week, and he was right. I was super pale in the video, but I wasn't the only one when I tried to go live on Wednesday. I was not the only person on YouTube having problems with YouTube. So I had to like pop on and jump on real quick, and then I was super pale. I look like a ghost. So I fixed that, but apparently my audio is low now. I'll have to look into that too. It's always something, huh? It's always something. I'll get it right one day. And thank you guys for coming to play trivia. I am just astonished that you would be nice enough to come join me on a Friday night and have a good time. Misfit, your prize got lost. No. Well, look into it. Look into it. I'm surprised by that. I'll email you. I believe you emailed me in the first place. So I'll email you back and we'll figure that out. Thank you for letting me know. Giving others a chance to win. And let's see. Everyone else. Yeah, we're pretty much done. This is a lot of fun. We do it every Friday night. It is a lot of fun. And if this is your first time here, I don't know if you watch the other videos, but we do a live roundup again on Wednesdays. I do about an hour where I talk about the articles I published on my website, founderoftheday.com, in the past week. I do have, and that's very strange. It didn't come back to me, Misfit. I'm surprised by that. Someone must have thought it was a ballot, and I'm not. Nope, I forgot. Can't make that joke. It's in modern politics. Don't make the joke. Sorry. Must just gotten lost in the mail. I will get you another one. Don't you worry about that. Thank you to our sponsor, Liberty & Co., who has given me a good amount of things to send out to you guys playing. This one was difficult. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Next week, I am not going to use... I'm going to skip the Constitution questions for a week. I am going to go with Happened Here. I almost did this one this week. Happened Here. It's got a little map on it, and it says, like, the date and the place. What happened at this place on this date? It's all American Revolution. So I'll jump to this next week for 6 and do another 6 about the articles and videos I make in the upcoming days. So stick around for that. Had a lot of fun. Thank you guys all for playing. Again, haven't come up with a sign-off for trivia yet, but good game. Matthew, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I cheated for everyone else, but I'm happy Ashley won. Welcome to the team. Now she'll come back every week, much like Matthew is telling us right now. Make sure you hit like, and if you're new here, definitely subscribe. Trivia every Friday, live videos Wednesdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just regular short videos about founders. I am in talks with people to start doing my interviews again. I'm hoping to start doing those over the next few days and start getting those back out on Thursdays because those were a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for being fabulous. And Braden, Fallen Founder, great book, highly recommended. The villain was beaten. Now I feel bad. Now Matt lost. Don't Don't taunt him. He's a really nice guy, man. So I am going to call it right now. My voice is suddenly disappearing. Gulp. But I can't appreciate you guys more. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to hit me up on any internet platform. Email me directly. Go to the website. Whatever you guys want to do, I am here for it. So thank you. And I will be back. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I did say I was going to go live over the weekend with a game, but circumstances prevented that. I am going to go live this weekend and play another game. If you guys are interested in that, feel free to watch. If it sounds boring, then don't. But I'm trying to bring you all the entertainment I can. I'm going to do kind of another how do you play a video game about the American Revolution. So thank you guys, and I will see you over the weekend.